Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, and how to build strong family bonds, all through the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about helping children with their negative feelings. In this video, we're talking about feelings that children might experience that are negative. We're going to talk about those negative feelings and what not to do, and then also what to do to help them come out of those negative feelings okay. There are productive feelings and there are non-productive feelings. Oftentimes when we say negative feelings, we're usually thinking of non-productive feelings. Non-productive feelings can be feelings like mad, anger, lonely, depressed, frustrated. Those are going to be feelings that trap you. There are other feelings, though, that children need to understand they have as well. Feelings like being happy, sad, being misunderstood. These are feelings that a person could experience. They're not necessarily non-productive or negative. They're just feelings. We all have feelings that we experience. The key is figuring out, if I cater to that feeling, what happens to me. If I cater to a feeling of sadness, I might feel a little bit grief for a short time. That's not all the time a bad thing. But if I give into that sadness for too long, I could then experience a deeper feeling called depression, which could lead me down into a spiral that I don't want to go down, right? We have to make sure that we go, okay, sadness is okay to experience and to talk about it, but we've got to make sure that we don't give into it to the extent that it's going to create even more non-productive feelings. So if you talk to your children about their feelings when they're little and what feelings are productive and non-productive, that can help them make better choices when it comes to what feelings they want to cater to and what feelings they know they need to come to you and talk about. One of my favorite books that I used to read with my children was this little book. I think it might have been a DK book or something like that, and it had pictures of children dressed up in little costumes, and they would say things like, "Do you ever act surprised with a mouth wide open and Google eyes?" And then they would say, "Are you angry and you know it? Growl so everyone will show it." So there's these little books that are for toddlers and small children that teach them about their feelings and their faces and their bodies and what they do sometimes when they experience these feelings. Now, sometimes when people read books like that to children, it can create feeling entitlement, which isn't good because that leads to emotional bondage. But if you take those types of little children books and you teach them, oh, do you like to feel angry? Does it help you to feel angry? Is there a better way that you could handle a situation instead of getting angry? Could you talk to mom about how you're feeling angry and maybe we could do something about it? So you could lead the child past anger, help them recognize what it is, but then what to do with it to go in a productive direction. So I loved that little book. I wish I had the name for you. I think it was something about faces. I don't even know if they sell it anymore. But at the end of the book, there was a picture of a mirror that would fold out, and the children could practice making those faces in the mirror so that they could recognize how it felt. Because sometimes when you just make the face, you then remember the feeling of that anger or that frustration or that sadness. All of those things that come just by getting a body memory with the face or the body acting like that particular feeling. When our children learn about their feelings, then they can discuss them. So you want to start by talking about the feelings. So let's talk about what not to do when someone is experiencing negative emotions and what to do. But first, subscribe to this channel. There are so many videos here that are for you, your children, your family. Click subscribe now. Number one thing that you do not want to do if your child is experiencing negative feelings is make the child feel guilty about that negative feeling. Feelings aren't something that we should feel guilty about. Feelings are part of being a human. Now, the emotions that come after the thoughts that occur in between the feelings and the emotions are something that we choose and could lead to us feeling a little bit guilty because we know we handled a situation wrong. Your emotion is the way that you emote or you express in some way, and sometimes we get ourselves into trouble with our expressing of those emotions, especially if they're non-productive emotions. If your child has a feeling, don't make them feel guilty about the feeling. In fact, what you should do is just acknowledge the feeling and then start a discussion about that feeling. Another thing not to do is when your child is talking about their feeling, to start cutting them off and reading more into their feelings than is really there. Just listen to what they have to say about their feeling. Now, hopefully, you can get them to talk about their feeling in a calm way instead of in a crying, controlling, manipulative type of a way. Because sometimes when you're feeling, you've already gotten to the place of emoting, and then you can start manipulating. But if we can get a person to calmness first, then we can start discussing the feeling. In fact, I tell my children that I'm going to talk about whatever they are feeling, but first we need to choose to get calm and then we will discuss it. So don't ever discuss the feeling until the person is at a place of calmness. And when they finally do discuss the feeling in a calm way, do not cut in, butt in, or assume that you know everything that they are feeling and why. Just listen and take it at face value. Then you can do your teaching afterward. So what should we do then? Well, we need to help our children understand calmness. If they can understand what is calm and what is not calm, then they can better get themselves to that place of calmness. And at the end of this video, I have something for you, a free gift that will help you teach yourself and your children more about calmness. We teach our children what a calm face is, what a calm body is, what a calm voice is. This is the feeling calmness. You teach that deliberately ahead of time before they ever need to use it. You practice it, discuss it daily, and then point them toward that calmness as soon as they are experiencing a feeling that is starting to turn into an emotion that's going to get them in some processing trouble or lead to increased manipulations or power struggles. You might say when you're trying to get them calm, it looks like right now that you are feeling frustrated. I want to talk to you about that frustration, but first we need to choose to get calm, then we can talk about it. You just declaring that you know that they are having a feeling and even giving it a word that you've discussed before, such as the word frustration, lets them know it's going to be okay. They do get a chance to talk about it, but first they need to focus on a new feeling called calmness. For each of my children, I help them develop what I call a calm plan. Sometimes a calm plan includes a calm down spot. Sometimes it includes a type of phrase that they're going to be saying in their head, such as, be calm, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I'm going to come up with a way for each child that they know how to be calm. Usually always deep breathing is a good idea because it disengages the emotional part of the brain and engages the prefrontal cortex. It makes them have to think deliberately about those deep breaths, which actually helps them come to front brain and relax the rest of their body. So deep breathing is always a good thing when it comes to calmness. After we follow through with their calm plan, then I'm going to be talking to them about skills that they can use next time and use this time as we practice the situation that they experienced again. When a child has a negative feeling, it's usually because they processed the situation in an emotional way. Now, that's just a normal part of being a human, as I mentioned before. But there are other ways to process situations too. We don't have to go straight to the emotional. In fact, we can go to the logical instead. Now, babies and children who have limited vocabulary oftentimes go straight to the emotional first. Sometimes they even go all the way to back brain, which throws them completely out of control. But you can even teach a small child to go to the front brain or logical to help them better process a circumstance and not start to cater to negative feelings such as anger and frustration. So I teach skills to children. These skills help the children learn what I call the 4 basic skills of self-government. The 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. When a person learns these 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. These 4 children's books each teach one of the 4 basic skills: following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. And just so you know, if a person does not learn how to accept consequences in their life, they can't learn self-government. And if they won't follow instructions from their parent, then you can't actually parent them. So all of these skills are designed to teach children how to choose happiness, how to choose a productive feeling, a positive feeling that will point them in the good direction, to prepare them to discuss with you. Now, multiple of these skills, these 3, all have a step in their skill set that they share in common. The step is dropping the subject. So for instance, in this book here, Porter Earns a Quarter, it talks about the skill set accepting no answers and criticism. When a person accepts no answers and criticism, they look at the person or situation, they keep a calm face, voice, and body, they say okay, or they ask to disagree appropriately, and then they drop the subject. That means that they don't think about it or talk about it anymore. So children can learn how to drop a subject. You can talk about what a subject is and what it does to them internally and how they can choose to let it go, to tell themselves, I need to drop the subject. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I'm going to start thinking about something else. They give themselves permission to move on. This is a super important thing when it comes to experiencing negative feelings. If I recognize I'm experiencing a negative feeling right now, then I can tell myself, is this a feeling I want to experience, or should I change and experience calmness instead and decide to let that feeling go? Because there's nothing I can do to change that circumstance. So I might tell myself, I'm going to choose calmness right now. I'll go through my calm plan, and then I will choose to drop the subject and let that feeling go. That is an empowering thing, a motivating thing. And then the child can talk to you about the feeling if they want to afterward, or they can start learning how to let go of negative feelings all on their own without you there to even guide them. Think of how mature that is. Remember earlier I mentioned that gift for your calmness? Well, here's the time that you get the gift. In the description below this video, there is a link that says teachselfgov.com/toolkit. If you click on that link right now, it will take you to my Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. The Calm Parenting Toolkit is a great starter course for learning teaching self-government. I highly recommend the TSG Parenting course after the Calm Parenting Toolkit, but get started now for free. Start learning the 10 tools that you need to be calm and to help them be calm too. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.